So today, Ironmen Speak Out Club is here to talk about changing our uniform. We're trying to find out if our uniforms are made with unfair practices such as child labor or low wages. So right now we're going to make a conference call and call some of the companies that make our uniforms.
Charles River Apparel, this is Lindsay. How can I help you?
I joined Speak Out because I feel like social justice is really important.
We are wondering if your company owns its own garment factories, or do you have any contracts with other companies that manage the factories?
I want to join the Speak Out Club because I wasn't necessarily involved in school activities last year.
Bosco Preparatory High School in Ramsey, New Jersey.
Just everyone know how you feel and what you want to change and see if you can change that.
The first year moderating the Ironmen Speak Out Club has been really amazing.
Feed the horse. The whole thing was to collect tags. Ironmen Speak Out Club. Over here.
So what's your name?
So today here,
The hardest part is that we had to kind of work from scratch. Like in school, they always give you a topic or something. Now, like, here's what we need to accomplish. Now figure out something that's going to accomplish this goal.
Ironmen Speak Out began investigating the question of sweatshops. We looked up the company's information on the computer and decided to call them after school in Father Manny's room.
I'm a student, and your company provides my school with clothing. I'm calling to ask a few questions about how the clothes are manufactured.
You didn't have somebody happy, huh? For the cloud of the school? Well, actually, I'm a customer service, so I'm going to transfer you to someone who could answer your questions like more thoroughly.
The number you have dialed, 781-395.
That's right.
When we called the company, it was actually very interesting. We got sort of a runaround of calling different people, trying to get information, and none of the companies could really give us a clear answer. So I think it raises some skepticism with who we're buying our clothes from and what their labor policies actually are.
Charles River Apparel, this is Lindsay. How can I help you?
We are wondering if your company owns its own garment factories, or do you have any contracts with other companies that manage the factories?
Well, we're the only one that's, we're the only one that, we're a wholesale distributor, so we are the only ones that make our, and we're the only ones that make our goods. We just people buy from us.
Okay. Do you know where your factories are located?
Some of them are in, there's some in Pakistan, I believe.
Pakistan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
China. We're all overseas. We're not American names. Sorry.
Can you provide us with all the names and addresses of the factories?
I don't have that, no.
Does your company have an official code of conduct that all the factories must abide by? Something
I don't know.
Does your company ensure that its factories are safe and workers are treated fairly?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I hope so.
In general, do you know the age and gender of the workers who sew your clothes?
No idea.
Do you know how many workers are employed in your largest factory?
I don't know.
Do you know if they're given health care benefits or paid sick days?
I really have no idea.
Do your factories have a union for their workers? No? Alright. Do you have a legal minimum wage standards in the countries where your clothes are produced?
I don't know that.
Is there a third-party organization that inspects your factories and ensures that the code of conduct is being followed and workers are treated fairly?
I don't know.
Right. Why does your company choose to produce clothes in developing countries instead of here in the United States?
I don't know that.
Okay, well thank you, Lindsay. Thank you so much. You have been very generous with your time. The information you provided us was very helpful.
Oh, good. You have a nice day.
You too. Wait. Oh.
It's
it's our duty not to let the world burn while we live here and feed off this wonderful education. But no, that it's our duty to actually go out there and be the activists that we're taught in theology class, and to really take that message of Catholic social teaching and apply it.
St. John Bosco really wanted to raise powerful young men, and I believe that students all around this school really have good hearts.
Don Bosco's vision was for the impoverished kids in Italy to have a say in what their world was like, because they didn't have much.
If you look at Don Bosco, what he did was he said, you know, in Turin or in these sort of increasingly industrial Italian cities, these children are not being mistreated, they're not treated as children of God, and he saw himself as having a duty to, you know, carry out the Christian message in the sense of humanizing those children and giving them a chance that a society had taken away from them.
He vowed to live in poverty with them, and he tried as hard as he could to give them a proper education to raise their standard of living, which is exactly what we're trying to accomplish as Speak Out. We're trying to help people all around the world raise their standard of living. We're trying to get human beings to be treated like human beings, which is what Don Bosco was trying to do for the young men on the street in Italy.
I actually think Don Bosco has a huge grin right now up in heaven, looking down on us in the Ironmen Speak Out Club.
I went to school here. I graduated in 2001, which is just over 10 years ago. The first time I started caring about human rights was exactly the same way these kids started caring about human rights. I had a literature teacher, and you know, she would always push us to question things, and she would always push us to find the story behind the story. 10 years later, the Speak Out Club that I had started when I was a student here is now being run again. I teach Night by Elie Wiesel. It's a memoir of a Holocaust survivor. So in addition to studying about the Holocaust and genocide during World War II, we look at genocide in Sudan. And that opens up the door to talk about so many other things, like, well, why doesn't the world care? Just showing that to my students is what really sparked them to start thinking about, well, you know, this is terrible. Why don't we do something about it? They thought of their mission. They had to decide what to do. And I think that's the spirit that kids really should be invited to embrace.
And your name is what?
Kieran Snyder.
People don't know about these things going on, and we still won't know, because even when contacting these companies, they didn't give us information.
I felt disrespected because I felt like we did a lot of work on it. The whole club really worked hard on it. And when we called the companies, we just got basically rejected.
And they decided we need to make a huge awareness campaign.
One of our members, Eric DeZeo, his dad had this vinyl for us, and he got it for us, and we had to find out the measurements and what would be proper.
Yeah, we're actually constructing a world right now.
It's a big banner. You see a big, gigantic sticker where we'll put onto that banner. Right?
You got it. Almost there.
It hurts.
I'm Eric DeZeo. We're here for the Speak Out interview.
How do you make a 9x14 map of the world, and there's kids yelling, they're like, yo, put it this way, put it that way, no, you're sticking it, and then these different personalities emerge.
It took a lot of hours in the art room, tracing and cutting out.
TAG stands for is an acronym for Together Acting in Global Solidarity.
And we cut off the tags from clothing here at Don Bosco and stapled them on a world map.
And on the tag, it had the country where it was made from.
Whatever country they're from, we stick them on that country.
Most of the clothing is most likely made in a factory that isn't fair trade.
Just knowing that tag was sewn on by someone who's suffering can really put an image in your mind of what really goes on.
Poor people are making our clothes so that companies can have the maximum profit that they can possibly have. By paying people very little to make items, they're making more money off their sale.
Get cheap labor. I mean, there's no other realistic reason that I could draw.
In my view, a sweatshop is a place with unacceptable working conditions where a person makes a wage where they can't feed their family and live comfortably.
I think it's really hard for the world in general to come to terms with what globalization has become.
Here in the United States, we have a lot of labor laws, but outside the United States, you have child labor going on. You have people working 16 hours a day, making $1.25.
And sweatshops exist because people can take advantage of the unemployed, of the poor people in the world, and that's why they're not in countries like the United States.
When they're seen as objects, when humans are reduced purely to numbers, of course it's going to get to the point where they're just given enough to stay alive, not enough to build up their community or advance themselves.
Jim Keedy in the Nike video, he went to Indonesia, he worked on their wage, and the poor conditions was just unfathomable.
I believe that everyone who could see from the eyes of a worker and go through the pain and suffering that they have to every day, they'd be shocked at what it really is.
Like, it has to be known that stuff like this is going on, children working in terrible conditions, and that we spend our money on this and we don't even think about it.
Every day you watch the news and all you ever hear are bad things on the news. You never hear about, oh, these students went and helped the the homeless or the hungry in Newark. And that's an issue to me. And so we took the initiative at Ironmen Speak Out to go and help those people in need.
Well, today we're here to make sandwiches for the people who need it. We're here to basically make bread over there, and over here, cheese over here.
And that's it. Sandwich goes to him in the bag.
Let's gotcha!
More bread, more bread. Kevin, more bread.
You don't eat people.
Yes, you do.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We have about 50 sandwiches with peanut butter and jelly. And then we have apple juice, bananas, clementines, and some granola bars. It's important because there are people out there that don't have food, and I mean, we can give back a little if we have so much.
I feel that I'm so grateful, I'm so fortunate to have so much that there isn't a reason why other people shouldn't have as much as I do.
Really, it's a great thing they're doing. They're going to feed the homeless. Not only do they speak out, but they're putting their really their words in action.
And the bonding that was built in the club by making the sandwiches and stuff, I really think that helped this club get closer together.
It really gives you an understanding of how lucky we are as students to come to this school and really have a great environment to learn and to live in.
We're going to the dump. What for? We're going to make connections with people. We're going to give some supplies to them, give some water, some food. Yeah, some food. We're going to help them out. We're going to see what kind of conditions they're in. And we should care because there's no difference between us or any other people. We could be any of these people that are being victimized.
They went through dump sites and they actually picked out recyclables, and a can I think was 5 cents that they could make from that. And so that really opens your eyes to how the other side lives and how people in other countries, how desperate they are.
So going to any of the maquilas, the large factories in Nicaragua, is really a humbling experience for yourself because you see so many people that are just operating like the machines that they are working on. They don't look up, they don't react to your presence in any way. They're there to work, and if they don't, they live in fear that they'll always be fired.
50 times 5 trucks times 250,000 jeans per truck, $62,500,000 per week.
We watched a short documentary made by actually kids in the club who went down to Nicaragua and talked to people in a sweatshop and a woman, Carmina, there said, you know, have people remember that there is someone behind those sewing machines, that it's just not a machine.
También estos empresarios que lo vieran a uno como un ser humano, así como lo ven estos chicos, y no como una máquina como lo ven ellos a nosotros.
Cada día tenía que producirse, podían ser 3.500 piezas. Cada línea. A veces módulo tenían, podría ser 10 líneas. Cada pieza a $25. En cada línea. Esos tipos estaban arriba. Y explotado. Estaba trabajando bien agotado.
It's really disgusting to think of a job as grueling as that people envy because that's their only source of income. In the fair trade perspective, particularly the co-op that we went to, the women owned what they were working on. They were a part of what they worked for.
Como cooperativa tenemos una cláusula que todo trabajador puede optar a ser socio de la cooperativa. Comercio justo a mayor volumen, los consumidores que van a consumir ese producto van a tener siempre en su conciencia saber de dónde viene el producto que yo voy a usar y saber bajo qué condiciones fue elaborado. Entonces de esa manera podemos ir revertiendo las cosas y ir mejorando. Y es algo que nosotros necesitamos.
They own and they're a part of what they're working for. They feel the benefits of what they're working for. Not like the other industrial workers that work at the maquilas who what they make, what they work for, what they sweat for, just goes into the pocket of some rich person in Connecticut. It's a totally different perspective, or a totally different approach to how things are made, of how industry works.
Yes, yes.
So straight line on the top and on the bottom.
Check it out.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I gotta ask, who did that? Who
Check this out too, for YouTube. Okay.
Mr. McLean, give a thumbs up. Yeah.
Good job, guys.
That's what I like to see. Andy, thumbs up. Richter.
We need to trim that.
I joined the club when we were starting to do the Day Against Sweatshop event.
So what we did was we had announcements for 2 weeks on the loudspeaker. It was all over Facebook. It was going and everything.
On Thursday, all of the students at Bosco who bought blank t-shirts in will get these shirts with fair trade printed on them.
And this was kind of our solution to the entire problem, where if you buy clothing from fair trade, this helps to create positive companies in other countries.
And that's exactly what we aim to do with the uniforms. We aim to make sure that they are fair trade certified, or that we know that they're made under the best conditions.
When you got one of these shirts, you were also asked to be an activist for the day, going around and showing kids and making people kind of realize that they are connected to this phenomenon.
They signed petitions that said that we're against sweatshops and we're for fair trade.
I think in all we collected about 300, 400 signatures to say, look, we want fair trade clothing.
I think that people were receptive. I think that the message did come across pretty clearly, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Whenever we buy something, we do support the welfare or hurt the welfare of these people.
There's many examples throughout history. Martin Luther King, the Civil Rights Movement. You stand together and you can make a difference. And I really feel like you guys can make a difference.
And so the idea of something like a Day Against Sweatshops and getting the students engaged is the idea that we can get the administration to see that people actually do care.
Mr. Stanczak actually surprised us and gave a talk after the video.
I did provide the information to the Speak Out Club that Nike had provided us as evidence that they were making efforts towards improving the quality of their treatment of the workers in their factories. But this is your school. And if you and your classmates feel strongly that you would prefer not to engage in business with such a company, then that's something that I think we honestly need to talk about. And I think that, at least speaking for myself, I would certainly be open to talking to you about that.
Mr. Stanczak actually gave us an opportunity to change something. That's what we wanted. We wanted an opportunity to change.
I feel that the club has had a major victory after this year at the school.
Once I realized just how important social justice is in not only my life, but I think everyone else's life, it really wanted me to take a leadership role in this club. I really got more into it, I really paid attention more, and I fell in love with it.
In this group too, you really find out through acting and what leadership skills you have, and who you can be and what you can do.
The amount of kids that this has turned on to the idea of social justice, the idea of being empowered, the idea of saying something together, it's blown me away.
I think that it's an incredible club, and I'm really proud that Don Bosco has something like this.
I feel that I have a better understanding of how people in poverty live.
All of the things that we've accomplished as a club has really made us stand out, and people are really starting to care and realize, wow, this Speak Out Club has been doing a lot of great things for our school.